Last week, a 10-time All-Star became eligible for a $275 million extension, and his own team told him, not yet. Prove it first? And here is the wild part. He is not even number 1 on this list. These are the 5 stars whose careers are on the line this season, counting up to the man with the most to lose. 1 ground rule. This is not an injury list, and it is not contract year clickbait. These are 5 stars whose next 12 months decide how their entire story gets told, forever. Fair warning, some of these are uncomfortable. Number 5. LaMelo Ball. Here is a story about doing everything right and getting shipped out anyway. LaMelo just played 72 games, his healthiest season in 4 years, and averaged 20.1 points and 7.1 assists with the most disciplined ball security of his career. He earned the first All-NBA votes of his life, and Charlotte won 44 games, their most in a decade. And they traded him anyway, for Naz Reid and picks, to hand the franchise to Con Newpol. Full honesty, this channel called LaMelo the most overrated player in basketball last December, and he answered with the most complete season of his career. Now Minnesota has bet its future on that answer being real. Next to Anthony Edwards, on a conference finalist, still waiting on his first real playoff series, LaMelo either becomes what the doubters said he never could, or the league moves on for good. If your team's star is on this list, you already know it. Hit the like button for emotional support. It genuinely helps the channel. Number 4. Ja Morant. 20 games last season. 19.5 a game on a career-low 41% shooting and 23.5% from 3, plus a 1-game suspension after a confrontation with his head coach. 79 total games in 3 years. Memphis, the franchise he electrified, rebuilt the entire roster and traded him to Portland for Jerami Grant and Chris Murray. That return is the league repricing a former face of the NBA in real time. And Portland is not handing him anything. Damian Lillard, Drew Holiday, Scoot Henderson, and Shaedon Sharpe all share that backcourt, so for the first time in his career, Ja has to earn the basketball. He just turned 27. Superstars have rebuilt from less, but this is the last roster that treats him as an experiment instead of an answer. Number 3. Kawhi Leonard. At 35, Kawhi just delivered the highest scoring season of his life, 27.9 points a game across 65 games. His reward is limbo. The trade sending him to Toronto has been frozen since June, while the league finishes its investigation into the Clippers. The reporting says the process could stretch into 2027, and training camps open at the end of September. Think about what is actually at stake. A 35-year-old body has a limited number of elite seasons left, and one of them is currently sitting in a filing cabinet. Whenever and wherever this resolves, Kawhi returns to a season full of questions he did not create. The quietest superstar of his generation might watch a chunk of his remaining prime decided by lawyers. Middle of the list, your assignment. Exactly one of these 5 ends the season as the hero of this story. Which one? Name him in the comments. I read every single one. Number 2, Anthony Davis. The man from the intro. Traded to Washington in February, then ligament damage in his hand ended his season before he ever wore the jersey. 20 games played all year, 71 across the last 2 seasons. When he did play, he was still elite, 20.4 points and 11.1 rebounds a game. That is the resume of a max player and the availability of a mystery box. And the reports from Summer League say he looked healthy and in shape, which means the audition starts on time. So when his $275 million window opened last week, both sides agreed to table talks until 20 games into the season. Read that honestly. At 33, one of the most talented big men of his generation is auditioning. The reporting says he wants the full max. The next 6 months decide whether anyone gives it to him. Number 1. Joel Embiid. Every excuse is gone. For a full decade, Philadelphia never reached a conference final with Embiid, and the ceiling of his era is still a Game 7 bounce in 2019. The counter was always the same: not enough help. Then this summer, the Sixers added Jaylen Brown, and LeBron James chose Philadelphia for what he called his last decision. This is the best supporting cast of Embiid's life. And it arrived with a clock attached, because LeBron signed for 2 years. Embiid gave them 26.9 a game in the 39 games he played last season and 58 games total across 2 years. We made a whole video on whether LeBron can win a title there, and the verdict was yes, with one condition. He is the condition. If this fails, there are no more windows, no more excuses, and the story of one of the most dominant players of his generation gets a final chapter nobody wants. No player in the league has more riding on the next 12 months. Quick word for 3 names who just missed. Jimmy Butler is coming back from a torn ACL at 36. Pascal Siakam has to prove last season's collapse was the roster and not the mileage. And Jason Tatum's explosion has to finish the trip back from the Achilles. That is the list. Embiid, Davis, Kawhi, Ja, LaMelo. 5 stars, 1 season, and no place left to hide. Some of these stories end in redemption. At least one probably does not. Subscribe so you are here when we find out which is which. See you in the next one.